I call the Honourable Member Denise Roach.
Thank you, Mr Chair. It's my great pleasure to take this call on behalf of the Green Party. New Zealanders are very generous people. According to a report commissioned by Philanthropy New Zealand, it's estimated that ordinary New Zealanders donated $1,546,200 last year. Individual people actually gave just over that amount last year personally. In total, what was given was $2.6 billion, and that includes the grants from trusts and foundations and businesses who've also been making donations. It all adds up to about 1.35% of our national GDP given to charities. And according to the Charities Commission, there's 23,000 registered charities in New Zealand. That's just the registered ones. That's not including the ones like the National Council of Women, who've been denied registration because of the narrow definition of charitable purpose. So it's without a doubt that New Zealanders are generous. This bill emerged a few years ago because there was concern that there was a lack of clarity about how much of that personal giving was being siphoned off to professional fundraisers while donors remained unaware. The stated purpose of the bill is to increase transparency and public accountability of third-party businesses that collect funds on behalf of registered charities. I actually haven't been able to find out how much of the 1.5 million or so that's donated personally last year was donated through professional fundraisers. However, I'd hazard a guess that quite a few of those 23,000 charities used them. I'm sure everyone's aware that the Greens do support transparency and accountability, and we'd certainly like a lot more of it. And I have a bill in the ballot at the moment that's around creating transparency for donations in local electoral elections, which might be a help. We do believe that those who give money to charities need to be assured that the money they give is used for the purposes that it was given. And we're pleased to see that during the progression of this bill, and like former other speakers, I pay tribute to the Select Committee members and chairs who've guided the progression of this bill. As we've seen it progress through the House, and especially at Select Committee, there's been significant adjustments made to this bill so that this legislation is less prescriptive than it was on its first reading. We're aware that some charities, community organisations, do spend a proportion of the funds that they raise to raise funds. And we acknowledge that when those donations are regular payments, the cost of fundraising reduces over time. As an example, I pay a regular fortnightly donation to Greenpeace New Zealand, and I'm pretty sure that over the last 5 years, that donation has accrued and more than covered the cost of the worker who hit me up for that donation in the first place. On the whole, we support the provisions of this bill that give discretion to the Minister and the Governor-General through an order in Council to check how much of a fee specific professional fundraisers are receiving when they're acting for specific charities. We believe this is a better solution to the complexities that were identified during the Select Committee process. Those complexities included trying to figure out what percentage of a donation would trigger either a partial or a full disclosure about what percentage of the donation was being kept by the professional fundraisers. So we welcome the bill's move to shift responsibility for examining the detail of those arrangements to the Minister. The legislation's timely. In the charitable and not-for-profit sector, especially for those that provide social services, the government has already signalled that they're wanting to reduce costs and claw back on contracts. At the same time, there are savage cuts to our public services. In this environment, it's likely that in the near future, New Zealanders will be called on to maintain that high level of giving. And some charities may rely on professional fundraisers to help them raise the money they need to provide the services that the government falls short on. It's these circumstances that also fuel the addiction that many organisations have on money gained from pokey trusts, and that's another bill that's up later.
I call the Honourable